Welcome to the Perfectly Sane Show, episode 724. I am Chris. It is Switch 2 release day. We're not sure where Tony is, but Jeff is here with me.
Yeah.
And Earl will be joining us. But Jeff has been playing Switch all day. I've been looking at it out of the corner of my eye, just like I want to play it, but I can't yet. Jeff, you got it delivered early this morning.
Super early. Like I woke up at like 6:30 and I saw a ring notification. I'm like, oh, is that the Switch? Looked at the video, see the dude walking up, dropping it off. I was like, hell yeah. Because I was telling you yesterday, it went from guaranteed by 9 a.m. to it'll be delivered by 10 p.m. Tonight. I was like, fuck. I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna get drunk tonight. And I'd stay up till like fucking 2 a.m. Like, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna be waiting for it all day tomorrow. And then I woke up all hungover at 6 o'clock today. I'm like, oh, but it's that Christmas morning feeling. So, but I was just feeling that through the haze of a hangover, and got it all set up. Spent like hours just setting everything up, and I've been playing it all fucking day, man, all day.
It's actually like a pretty quick setup. It's just getting it how you want it is. With what games you want downloaded, and but everything's actually really intuitive. Like even the Pro controllers for the other Switch, you just got to plug them in and they automatically pair.
Yeah, it's just like connecting them to your old Switch. The one thing that was a little tricky is because I did not do the system transfer.
Yeah,
it did not make my Switch 2 my primary console for my account.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, when I went to go download Bowser's Fury, it was like, this is not your primary console. You need to turn on, like, your primary console and put it up next to this. And I was just like, what is all this? And then, the first thing I read is that, like, oh, the way to make your new Switch to the primary console is to do the transfer. So I tried doing that, and it didn't work anymore, probably because I'd already set it up. But there's a way to just make it your primary, and that's all I cared about.
How do you do it for those that may skip it? Just like I want to play, and like you just jump to it.
Yeah, so to change your primary console, you have to go on your primary console. So I'd go on my original Switch. You go onto the eShop, click on your profile on the eShop, go to settings, and you're going to go down to I forgot what they call it. So like you're going to see a button that says deregister, and then you deregister it, and then it tells you the next console that you enter the eShop on, that will now be your primary. So then after you do that deregister, it's very simple. Just go on your Switch 2 and go on the eShop, and you're good to go. But then I had to put in new credit card information because my old was like, that's how long it's been since I touched my Switch. I got a new card. Then I was like, okay, I want the GameCube app downloaded, or the Nintendo Switch Online app.
Yeah,
I want I want Bowser's Fury because I'm probably gonna check that out. What other new game do I want to buy? I bought Fantasy Life. One other fun thing about the Switch showing up though is if you pre-ordered it from Walmart, they brought you some snacks with it.
That's cool.
They brought like a Coke and like a can of Pringles and shit. So a little thank you. Like a little note like, enjoy your new system. Thought you'd like some snacks with this order. That's neat.
That's cool. All I got was like a bag from a GameStop that was like, oh, here's Mario and friends live here. Like, oh, cool. All right. I could have maybe done without the bag. Nothing special from getting it at GameStop. Although I had to pick it up. I did have mine. 5 hours, maybe 6 hours ahead of you, but I did not get it set up until well after you. So yeah, we both installed Mario Kart. Jeff got Fantasy Life. I was like one game feels light, right? Like it just didn't feel right. Like for a while, I was like, I need more. So I resigned myself to like not spend more than $70. So I ended up getting Bravely Default, the remaster of that. that other racing game that you and Earl told me about that I still can't remember what the fuck it was.
Like fast. It's fast. Something.
Yeah. Yes.
Racing.
It's like a Wipeout type game.
It's straight up. It's F-Zero. They want to be F-Zero very bad. Yeah.
So yeah, I got that, and then I was like, oh, that's $55. Could still spend a little bit more. Oh, here's the welcome tour. So I spent the $10 and got the welcome tour.
Yeah.
And my half hour with the welcome tour, that should definitely have been a pack in. It's neater than I like. The way it was kind of previewed is like, oh, you just kind of walk around the Switch and it'll give you information about what it is. There's like mini games and stuff you go to and play. And they're all like about the functionality of like the different stuff on the Switch. So like the first, you end up on one of the Joy-Cons to start with. That's like where the entrance is. And the first, like the first mini game or whatever challenge that you do is you have to use it like a mouse. And you're controlling this, it's like a little spaceship that's avoiding falling stuff from the sky. Like you don't want to hit it. And you have to last a certain amount of time to get a medal. And evidently, like, you need the medals to like advance into the game. So it was harder than I was expecting. Like, this is actually pretty challenging. I got one of the 2 medals for it, so I was able to survive 20 seconds, not 30. And then the other one was it was like the rumble. It's like, all right, like move your Joy-Con along this line and hit an X where you think it is the most strong part of the rumble. That one wasn't quite as fun. It wasn't really a game. It was more like just feel how the controller works. But
yeah,
it looks like there's maybe a little more depth to it than I was expecting. And for $10, whatever, that's like throwaway money for me. But it should have been what came with the system.
Yeah, I heard it is more of a game than you would expect. But again, it's just like, why would you not just include that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and they're only selling it for $10, so like you could have definitely packaged that in. We'll get to Fantasy Life in a minute, but Jeff and I both have played Mario Kart. Jeff way more than me.
Yeah,
you finished it. Well, I mean, there's more to do, but you finished all the Grand Prix, I assume.
Finished all the Grand Prix, played multiplayer, used game chat, tried battle mode. So yeah, I've pretty thoroughly tried Knockout Tour.
How's that?
It's cool. It's basically like stitches together 6 different tracks.
Okay.
And then as you reach each new track, it's like there's a gate, and like the first gate will be like you have to be 20th or better. Next gate will be like 14th or better. And so finally, when you're going for, the second to last gate, you have to be 4th or better. And then from there, it's just who's going to win the 6th gate. Yeah.
So it's like survive until the end and then win the final gate.
But it is neat that it is like, it is, it's like one long course that's made by putting different tracks together.
That is neat.
Yeah.
I've only done the first Grand Prix, and you told me, you were like, dude, there's this cool Donkey Kong themed level.
Yes.
And, that level is awesome. Currently maybe my favorite in the entire series.
That is another track where it's just like you're going from point A to Z or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like a circular track. And for the most part, like, I did not realize it was like a Donkey Kong theme one until like the end of it. And then you reach the end and you're like going up the scaffolding from the original arcade game.
Yep.
Just throwing barrels at you. I was just like, so I don't know if it's my favorite in the whole series, but it is my favorite in the whole game. So they go strong right off the bat in the first, like the Mushroom Cup or whatever, with this awesome fucking track.
Yeah, it's really cool. And like you can use the pickups to hit the barrels too. So like if you have like a shell.
I did not know that. I was just avoiding them.
Yeah, you can throw it at you have to aim it straight, and if you hit it though, it'll explode, so you can drive right through. it's really fucking neat. Like, if that's like the level of creativity they're going for here, then I think we're in good hands. But you finished it, so you think overall pretty strong?
It's fucking great, dude. What a like awesome launch title, like going big with like your biggest franchise.
Yeah.
And it's just been so long, like so long since a new Mario Kart that it's just crazy, even just seeing it with a new coat of paint where you're just like, damn, this looks good as fuck. And the tracks are, again, that's probably my favorite one, but there's a lot of them that are pretty dynamic where like it changes, like even if it is just 3 normal laps, like the course will change on the second lap and the third lap. They're not all 3 laps either. There's some that are like 8 laps. There's some that that are 5. Some I don't even think it's always 20 racers. Like sometimes I think it's less. Like it really switches things up in the Grand Prix. But overall, just super strong quality to all the tracks.
The addition of so many racers is pretty wild. Like it just makes it feel way more lively right out the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really neat. I'm hoping to like get into free roam and try some of the other stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna burn through it quite like you did, but I'll probably be done it by next week.
It doesn't take long. Like
no, it's like Mario Kart.
Yeah, it takes like a few hours, and but you're gonna be playing it for years. Like it's the new Mario Kart.
So do you know how new? Like I looked when I came back tonight, and it was like I had unlocked Donkey Kong from doing that first Grand Prix. Is that how you unlock characters, like finishing the Grand Prix, or is it coins, or do you know?
Yeah, it's so far. It just seems like every Grand Prix I got a character.
Okay.
I wonder if there's more than one tied to each Grand Prix because there's some Grand Prix I did not get gold or platinum in, so I'm hoping there's more characters than I already unlocked. But yeah, every Grand Prix in the game I unlocked a character.
I mean, I started out. I did the Grand Prix with just like Mario. I just jumped in like that, but then when I came back, there's like a crab you can play as. It's absolutely stupid. There's a lot of dumb stuff that like it's just fun to kind of hit. Tell us about Fantasy Life though. I don't know anything about that game.
So I guess it was like a DS game or a 3DS game, like the first one. This is a new one, and it is very Animal Crossing-ish. Like it looks like Animal Crossing kind of, but much like Rune Factory, you're not just town building and living your fantasy life. There's combat in it, and I'm still like getting I've put 4 hours into it, but I'm still like very early on in the game, and it's there's a bunch of different jobs you could do. They call them lives, which is funny. Okay. So like, what life do you want to be? Like, you choose one at the beginning, and you could be like a carpenter or a blacksmith or whatever, like fisherman. Kind of all the activities you'd expect in this type of game.
Right.
But, along with that, there's like mercenary, hunter, more action-oriented stuff. So I took the missionary. So like it starts off giving you like missions to go in this cave and kill this or whatever. So like I love adding that shit to Animal Crossing because that's after a while, Animal Crossing, you're just like, okay, well, there's nothing left to do here.
Yeah, collect the shit on the beach and trade it in. And so is this a little more Stardew-y?
No.
Okay.
The closest thing I could say is like Animal Crossing, but it doesn't it's not real time like Animal Crossing for one. So I don't even know. And I don't know if the seasons change. Like, there is the day-night cycle as far as I can tell. I cannot tell how to advance it. I don't even have my own house yet, which I'm assuming you do get. It's just been a whole lot of, like, well, you need to do this now. Like, I'll start to do one thing, I get a job as a carpenter. They want me to craft something. I need some logs. Well, in order to do that, then I need to get a job as, like a woodsman or, you know what I mean? Like a lumberjack. So now you get to switch jobs, so you can get the materials to complete. Like, and so it's just like you just kind of get lost in it. Or it's like I know I started doing something a while ago, and I'm like 5 or 6 different things different now. I'm running all over the fucking place, doing different things for people. But yeah, so far, I think like if you're into Animal Crossing or games like that at all, this is a very strong recommend for if you're looking for a launch title on the Switch too. I would definitely give this a shot.
Is that a full price game or?
Yeah, and it was on like you could get it on the older systems. You could get it on Xbox now. I think
Okay.
it's a $60 game. On Switch 2, it's $63, like $62.59 or something crazy, because it's an upgraded version of it. So if you already own it on the
Switch,
you could upgrade it for like $3. Yeah.
It's just Fantasy Life.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it, $2.59 or something for you ridiculous?
Yeah.
It's super goofy.
It's weird. Yeah, but it's fine. It's better than $10. Whatever. Cool.
Yeah. As you heard, Earl has joined us. Earl, throw us your Switch questions.
What are your Switch questions?
What do you got?
Well, I got nothing yet, thanks to Walmart. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. But I guess the thing I'm curious about, and maybe you folks have talked about this already, as somebody who's going to get one soon, what is the process like in terms of converting your Switch to your Switch 2?
So Jeff didn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He skipped it.
So it's pretty straightforward. It just asks you like when you start, and then it's just like you have to turn on your Switch and put it next to it.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Just like getting a new iPhone.
It actually starts on. Well, you start it on your Switch 2, Earl, and then you go to your Switch 1, turn it on, and then there's like settings in there. You kind of have to go through settings and like do system transfer, and it's like you want to do it to your Switch 2, and they'll just connect. Or in Jeff's case, they won't connect. But
yeah.
Okay, I guess the other thing I was going to ask is, I was confused because I think people had different interpretations of what they did or didn't do. Because you can still keep stuff on your Switch, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yep. It sounds like if you did it ahead of time, the stuff on your Switch would transfer over, but then it would be deleted from your Switch, and then it would just on your Switch too.
Okay, so I did the system transfer this morning, and it took way too long, but that's my fault because I had a lot of stuff installed on my Switch that it was then like, all right, we're going to install all that shit on your Switch too. But it has to download it all. So that took a little while, but I grabbed my regular Switch later in the day and had run upstairs, and I was like, let me see like what's what it did, and like, oh, like your Switch 2 is finished transferring, and it just boots you back into the main menu. Like all your stuff is still installed. It's just whatever you had there. It does now. The game card thing is now there
by default, I imagine.
Yeah. So like I transferred everything over to my Switch 2, and so I hit Mario Kart 8, and they were like, "Oh, you need to have that. You need to move that game card over to this Switch." So I had to like press that, and then it goes through this big animation of like an imaginary card inserting into your Switch.
Yeah.
And then it allowed me to play Mario Kart 8 on my original Switch.
But you only have to do all this. You don't really have to do any of this. Like you can just
don't,
not do it.
I think I would personally probably retire my Switch, if need be. But like it's good to kind of have it nearby just in case. I guess the other thing, and I don't know if you did, I guess, is it super easy to kind of connect your Joy-Cons and your Pro Controller?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Joy-Cons, I'm not sure about. Did you do any Joy-Cons, Jeff?
Hell no.
Okay. So like I did my Pro Controller, Earl, and that is just plug it into the USB port on the Switch 2, and that's it. That's all you have to do. It's like, your Joy-Cons
would be the same as on the Switch. You get to go with the change, grip, order, whatever, like the connect controller thing, and sync button. But the one thing, Earl, like if it sounds like you're just going to do the transfer. If you don't do it, The only thing you have to worry about is you have to set your Switch 2 as your primary console, and to do that, you have to go on your old Switch on the eShop, go to your profile, and then the settings deregister it as your main,
as your primary.
and then like automatically when you go on the eShop on the Switch 2, it'll make it because I'm like I don't like, why do I need to transfer all this shit? I don't give a shit. I'll download games as I want them or whatever. But then I was like,
oh, also like your save files and stuff, or is that
but if you have the Nintendo Online, you have cloud saves.
They're there, yeah.
Anyways, whatchamacallit? So I went to go download Bowser's Fury after I skipped everything, and it was like, oh, you need to turn on your old Switch and put it next to it in order to like move the game card over and all this. I was like, what the fuck? And then I just found out that because I didn't do the transfer, basically I would have to do that every time I wanted to like play something from the. So I just like, okay, I made it so that's my main console now. Yeah, I had no problems downloading.
And once you did that, everything went in fine.
Yeah, it's just like, I just turned my Switch off probably for the last time after that.
Yours was on the verge of. All right, yeah.
Yeah, but why would I play it now?
There's not much reason. Yeah. I mean, so the kids had a Switch upstairs that they dropped and the screen's cracked. So it's like in a box right now. My youngest daughter was like, well, can you put yours upstairs when you get your new Switch too? Like, I guess. Like, so they'll use it, but if you don't have another use case for it, it's gonna go somewhere, you're gonna get rid of it.
Yeah.
So in terms of, Nintendo being Nintendo, this is a very easy kind of process.
It feels modern completely. Yeah, it's like I said, it just feels like getting a new iPhone or something. Like you don't even have to think really. Well, I did because I skipped everything, but
you just want to go rock and roll.
Well, I don't see what do I need to transfer every game? Like I could download those games if I want to play them. I like it feeling clean. I like how there's like literally 4 icons right now on my Switch 2. I love it.
But I was gonna say, I wonder if you because I am with you to a degree, because I was actually going through this. A friend came by before trivia that killed some time, and I was like, oh, I need to get my Switch ready, and I looked at my Switch and I realized that a lot of it was kind of not meditated, but because a few years ago when I got my OLED, I very much did the Jeff thing where it was on my old Switch, I just download everything and leave it there. And then when I got the OLED, I'm like, wait, I'm not playing this game. I've not played this game in like 5 years. Why would I keep it on my system just because I own it and have the space? So like there was a few games I went through today where I wanted to clean it up because I didn't need it. Or like, for example, I still have Star Wars Hunters, which apparently still works, but that game is going to be listed at some point.
Yeah, same. It's actually downloaded on my Switch too as well. Yeah, I showed Jeff, so we were talking back and forth this morning, yeah, I'm just waiting for all my shit to download, and like I took a screenshot and it was like 2 full rows of downloads, and I was like, there's still a row and a half underneath there. I don't need all that shit on there. Like there's no need. So I probably will cull it at some point. Like I don't need Burnout Paradise on my Switch 2 right now. I'm not playing it. I haven't played it in 2 years. So.
About how long did it take you, if you had to guesstimate?
I started at about 9:30, and it was ready. I think I texted Jeff and was like, this is going to be ready right before I have to go into my next meeting, which was at noon. So it was like 2.5 hours and I filled up 75% of the hard drive. So
okay.
Hey, fuck that shit.
Yeah,
I could have easily filled my hard drive. Didn't want to do either. So I was like, because I'm kind of good with the amount of space that's on it right now. Like I have 200 gigs available to me. It's like that's more than I have on my Xbox. Like I never have that much on my Xbox.
Because like I think I have like 20 or so games installed on just the Switch. Because like.
Yeah,
the hard drive on the actual Switch, the original Switch, would not have held up. That all came from my SD
card.
Yeah. So like it has a pretty good size hard drive for the size of games Nintendo offers.
Yeah, because Nintendo still knows how to make a game a reasonable size. Like,
it's not
fucking
4,000 million terabytes to
like,
oh, here's this game that's 4 hours long and is way too big.
Like Mario Kart, which looks amazing. I think it's like 21 gigs. Looks and sounds amazing. 21 gigs. Like,
yes. I do wonder, like, when Call of Duty inevitably hits it this year,
what would that?
Is that going to be like 130 gig download? It's just going to take up your entire Switch.
yeah.
Like it does.
Yeah, there'll be games that do that, but yeah, you know.
I use, and I think you're probably the same way, Jeff. Is like we use our Switches mostly for Nintendo games. Like there's other stuff we play on it, but
yeah,
mostly for Nintendo games. Probably you two are all like Nintendo. They optimize for their system. Like they're not ridiculously sized games.
Yeah, it's like mostly Nintendo and indie games. That's like pretty. I would say that's 90% of what I play on Switch.
So
and all the indie games are not big either. They're usually super small. So
yeah, there are a few exceptions. I mean, I don't know if I'd get it, but I looking at some of the state of play, I'm like Final Fantasy Tactics. I think would be a much better like Switch game than a PlayStation game. I think most RPGs are. I think there's just something about grinding and leveling up that just suits handhelds for me more. But
absolutely, yeah.
But yes, they are really good at being this miraculous company that somehow gets all of their games to fit into 20 gigs or less. I mean, I'm sure even Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild is maybe 20, under 30 for sure.
I guess the one thing before we move off of the Switch 2, I think, Jeff, we mentioned this before we started. It is a nice piece of hardware.
Yeah, just all around, man. Dude, this day has been like Christmas. Like it's just been like I haven't had this feeling forever. Like between that and just the absolute fun of Twitter today has just been wonderful, wonderful day.
That's a different subject.
It's a different subject. Yeah, different subject, but it's just like the combination is like ice cream on top of ice cream. It's like
I don't know if he hates Nintendo because he's always like trying to steal their thunder. Because when they revealed the Switch, he's like Terror Town, and the Switch comes out, he's like, I'm gonna pick a fight with another random dude. Oh, I guess the dude started the fight. Whatever. But yeah,
it's been great. It's been just
the other thing. Again, I spent a lot of my day watching videos of people playing the Switch, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. One of the things I was surprised by, again, Nintendo being Nintendo, sometimes they do have a lower bar. I was surprised by how easy it is apparently to just map the what do you call those buttons? Like the GL and GR, the ones underneath the controller, the grip buttons, I guess.
Oh, well, they're not on the Joy-Cons or on the
so you folks don't have new Pro?
I do. I haven't played them yet, and they are. I just got a Pro controller tonight, Earl. They are very easy to hit. I don't like where they're placed, but you have to program them, I believe.
Yes, but that was the thing I was going to say. What's surprising for Nintendo is that it looks like it's very easy to program them in terms of, you could program them per game, and you could just do that through the menu, which, again, very small bar for Nintendo to cross, but I thought it would be like all or nothing. But the fact that you can program them for Mario Kart and maybe you won't need them for like a Mario Party is actually really stellar and really cool. I'd also say I was watching Kind of Funny, and I kind of now want the video camera for the game chat. Not for the game chat so much, but they were showing Mario Kart, and I think you both have played Mario Kart Arcade before, but the fact that it does that thing with the video camera where
whatever.
But yeah, where it's like it shows a real time picture of you.
Yeah.
And I like that would be really cool with friends like you're playing and you could see how they react to being hit or something. And yeah, that was really nifty.
So I looked for the camera today. Well, first I looked because I have extra webcams. None of them work with the Switch 2.
Really? You tried and it didn't work?
They have to be USB-C webcam.
So they're all like a little older, probably.
Yeah, mine are a little bit older, so it's like I can use the one I have hooked up to the Xbox for the Xbox, but it won't on the Switch too. So I asked when I went to the store today. We don't have any. I was like, I don't really need to spend $50.
It's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, part of me wants to get it, but
yeah,
I guess yeah.
I was gonna say the other thing is you could not spend $50 and find it has to be USB-C, but you could probably find a cheaper webcam for it. Because again, it's not something I want, probably not something I'm gonna get at launch, but seeing that I'm like, this would actually be, I could see where this will be fun and novel in that case. The gameplay aspect of it, of like Mario Party Jamboree, where you I'm less sure of, but they did that. And the thing is, and again, this is probably very stupid and not a selling point for many people, but kind of funny if you watch them, is they record in a studio, so they were sitting next to each other, and the game was actually able to make, this is Jess, this is Tim, this is this is Mario, this is Dry Bones, whoever they were, and it was specifically like it would show them. It wouldn't show both of them in the frame. It knew exactly who it needed to focus on. I'm like, okay, that's a neat piece of technology. But again, I don't, I don't think I would use it in a room with a bunch of people. Again, it's more of a novelty where I'm like, oh, this isn't completely awful, but it's not something like, oh man, I gotta go on my way to get.
You're fully correct that there are USB-C webcams that are way cheaper than $50. Like I already found 2 for 20. So,
yeah.
Thank you for that. I did not even think of that. Oh, they're going to be expensive. Like, yeah, no. Webcams have come down in price.
Yeah, I mean, especially, since the pandemic, a lot of people were doing them. So yeah, I'm sure there are webcams you could find that are cheap. And again, game chat, I wouldn't care about the quality too much. But like, for that stuff, as long as as long as it's like not 480, I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there was any specs on the, so like I can match them, but I bet the ones that are for sale are probably actually better webcams than what Nintendo's offering. Possible. Not that like everything about this hardware has been really, like, I'm very, very impressed.
Yeah.
It makes the original Switch look like a toy, like, which when the Switch made the Wii U look like a toy, like it made it look like a Fisher Price toy.
Yeah,
well, that's a whole different comparison.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they're you can see the evolution from, like, the Wii U was this bulky kind of very giant bezel on it and heavy, and then the Switch was nice. Like, I was like, this is a cool thing, but then I got the Switch 2. I'm like, holy shit, this is beautiful. Like, it's a really nice piece of hardware.
So 2 other things I want to touch on before we move on is I tried the game chat. It works really well. So I really like that. It's cool just having built-in chat. The other thing is the GameCube games. For whatever reason, they include the PAL versions too. If you want to try the European versions of the games, which is neat.
I think it's more for our European brethren. I'm almost certain in every case that
they're not as good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
because
this may be more for older, like the previous generation to that, like PlayStation 1 era. But I think that the PAL versions may run at a different frame rate.
They do.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's frame rate or what refresh rate.
Refresh.
Yeah.
Rate, so,
yeah, because it's like 50 hertz versus 60 hertz.
Yes.
And I think that was a thing up until maybe the Wii, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360.
Okay, so it goes through GameCube as well.
And and I think that's the thing. That's why and I think it's one of those things I think we've talked about before with in terms of like remakes and remasters, is when do you make a game how it was versus how people remember how it was. Because like I'm sure there are people who are like, oh no, this game played X, Y, and Z way because they grew up with that type of refresh rate, and that's what they know and what they want. Though it is weird, again, from what I saw, it is weird that it's a menu option to pick one or the other, and not just pick a game and then you get to pick the version.
No, it's like
That,
you go in. There's like 2 F-Zeros, 2 2 Zeldas, and 2 Soul Calibers.
yeah,
I would say that's one of my few only disappointments too. Is that I feel like you could have thrown a few more GameCube games up. Like those are all cool games, and I haven't gotten to any of them because I'm so happy playing the new stuff. But I'm also just so psyched that like you could play GameCube games now on modern hardware again. Like it's so cool.
So here's a question for you guys. This is like hypothetical, but what is the one GameCube game that's not currently available?
I think we all know my answer to that. So
I think mine's the same as yours. We'll see. We'll see. Jeff, what's your most anticipated like GameCube game coming to that service?
I don't know. What is your guys?
Earl, are you going to say Skies of Arcadia?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one I'm most.
Is that like announced?
No, but that's what he's saying. It's like ones that are not announced.
If they could give you any game that's on GameCube, like
yes, it's on GameCube. It's a better version than the actual Dreamcast version because there are additions and changes and evolutions to it. It's something that Sega would not have to think about. And of course, if you follow me on social media in any of the past 15 years or so, and me requesting, I have a friend at Sega who I harass all the time about when are you going to do a Skies of Arcadia remake or remaster, and I will literally take Skies of Arcadia Legends on the GameCube. For me, I think the ones that I would be most interested in, aside from Skies of Arcadia, would be the games that kind of have that under the ground legacy. Like I am a fan, and more of it in theory than execution of Geist. I think that's a very fun and novel GameCube game that a lot of people don't necessarily know or think about it in the same way. I think it did have a remaster. Sphinx and the Cursed Mummies up there. I know licensed games are always a pain in the ass. It'd be amazing if they could somehow get the X-Men Legends games on there.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on any of those, but yeah,
I wouldn't,
take them all. I would gladly.
It would be an amazing get. Like I said, I have no intentions of them being actual things that happen, but I would be so down for it if it did. Yeah.
I'd love to get some of those games that never released in the U.S., like Doshin the Giant, and what was the other one with the animals that looked really cool?
It's like Cube something another.
Yeah,
it was Animal Crossing, which wasn't Animal Crossing. I forget what the name of it was. But yeah, stuff like that would also be fun. But yes, for me, the first thing is when they announced, I'm like, great, it's an opportunity for us to get Skies of Arcadia.
Yes, that was what I was thinking today. I'm like, oh, shit, they have a good relationship with Sega, like because there's the Genesis app on Switch, like through Nintendo Online, like they could possibly get us Skies of Arcadia finally, and I wouldn't have to I mean, it's emulated anyway, but like I could officially, have it on a system and not have to play it on my PC, or that would be really awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm stoked for that. I'm also excited that I was not gonna get the GameCube controller. So I think I have one for the Switch when they were doing the GameCube adapter for Smash Brothers. But it has gyro and stuff. I'm like, actually, it's really kind of cool because it can be used. I mean, all of them can be used as a console controller, but the GameCube, more than any of the other Nintendo controllers to this point, is the one that's most closely resembling a modern controller. And adding gyro is just another, chef kiss. And I think it also has those 2 programmable buttons underneath, I think. Or at least the game chat button.
Okay. Jeff, you played a GameCube game, right?
No, I just went in and looked at it because again, it's just between Fantasy Life and playing all of Mario Kart, I was busy.
I'm just wondering because like the mapping on, I'm just wondering how the mapping works with how they they're emulating that, because the GameCube controller does have like a weird kind of. It is close, but it does have a weird layout to it. I'm just wondering, like,
I mean, the positive I would say is I imagine, well, not imagine, I know it's a thing. You can map the button, so you can do, I think, the same thing they added to N64. So you can kind of get to most what's comfortable. But yes, because of the GameCube's unique layout, there are certain, I mean, that's why everybody always clamors for it for Smash Brothers. I think that's the biggest example of being designed around the controller. And I think there are people who, I mean, again, it's 20 some odd years old. Damn, like 24 years old now. But there are people who have, like, they're not meant to, what do you call that? Muscle memory is the game controller for that game. And they can't, like, earn it any differently. And yes, I think that, and there's a few games that have the, because I think the GameCube is the only Nintendo controller that has the analog triggers.
Okay.
So I know Sunshine does it, and I think some of the racing games where, like, as you press it, it will change the pressure, and then you can kick it all the way down to do something. And I don't think any other Nintendo controller does that. So some of those games would be interesting to see as well.
Wonder if my, I think it was like 8-Bit Do, they released it's not a GameCube controller, but it's like it looks more like an Xbox controller, but it has the button layout of a GameCube. Wonder if that would work. It's like 8-Bit Dude does. There's some stuff that works on the Switch that they've released. Could try that. Pull that out of storage. Anyway, yeah, the Switch is awesome. Earl, I hope yours shows up tomorrow.
I do too. As far as I know, last I checked, it's still somewhere in North Carolina. But yeah, that's what they're telling me.
That's where Tony's is as well. So
yeah, I was so tempted. I got up this morning because for some reason my body's like, you're gonna wake up at 5:30. I was like, I'm just gonna go to Target because Targets didn't open last night, so they were doing 8 a.m. I'm just gonna go to Target and get it. You know what? I'm not gonna spend the money. I think just because between this and I just came back from a trip and I have another trip to plan next month, that let me just, like, not run up my credit card.
That's fair. I mean, especially since you already have one coming. It's already to show up. So
yeah.
Go ahead, Earl.
Oh, no, go on.
Well, just moving off of the Switch, unless you guys have anything else you wanted to kind of poke at with it.
I don't want to poke at anything, and I apologize. I'm not a Nintendo. I am a Nintendo defender, but in this case, this is not a defense of Nintendo. This is just me being very ignorant. I have never realized how out of touch I am with a segment of the gaming industry, not even the gaming industry, gaming fandom, than it is with this the consoles in general, because there are so many acronyms people throw around that I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Because a few weeks ago, I think we talked about this on the show. I know I talked about it on Blue Sky when people were complaining that, like, the VRR is only on the handheld and not the docked mode.
Yes.
I don't know what that means, and I don't know what's happening here.
I think it's virtual refresh rate.
It's variable refresh rate, I think, or something like that.
Variable refresh rate. Yes.
I still don't know what it is, but I know what it means now. And then,
so it syncs the refresh rate of the display with the same, like, what's coming out of the machine. So if the machine is pushing 60 frames, it'll set your at 60 hertz.
Okay.
Or it does like emulates it, because it's not a hard. I don't know if it's a hardware thing or not. It's a little bit over my head. That's my understanding of it. Yeah. Set to the same refresh rate.
Okay, so today the new one was that the handheld screen only does, I think, 450 NTS.
That no idea. Yeah, no idea.
Yeah, and apparently, like, NTS is like that is too, like, that's very too low to do an HDR. I know what HDR is. That I know.
Yeah.
But like they were talking about the NTS. I'm like, what are we talking about? What are we? What? I don't even know what it measures. I'm told that like you need like 1,000 NTS to do a proper like HDR, but and like over 400 is beyond SDR. And I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm either happy for you or sad for you. I can't. I'm
There
not gonna hurt what this is. I did not figure out what NTS stands for. I think it's NTS. Uh, but yeah.
there's a group of people that, I mean, they do this with they compare the games and the frame rates. Like, there are people that just get really deep into the hardware and care about like the most nitpicky shit. And it's like, I think all of us on here, even Tony, who has like a pretty monster gaming rig, are all just like, just give us good games that like play well. That's what kind of matters most.
Okay, just because I'm very curious.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not NTS, it's NITS and ITS.
Okay.
And the NIT scale is according to Google, is a unit of brightness used for digital displays and are measured in candles per square meter. One nit is roughly equivalent to the light output of a candle. So basically, how bright a screen can get.
Yeah.
And this is what it says: from 100 to 200 is a typical indoor computer monitor brightness. 300 to 500 is normal brightness for most modern TVs. So essentially, it's the switch of the TV screen on the go.
Yep.
1,000 is high brightness, considered a premium for HDR TV functions, and 2,000 is I guess what Ultra HDR is. So this kind of falls in line to just, again, basically a normal TV screen on the go, which works for me because I'm happy with my TV screen. But I was on that, I'm just like, I don't know what this means anymore.
Me neither, Earl. I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
Like, they are literally picking at nits now.
Yep.
Jeff, you played the big game that's we already talked about Mario Kart, but you played the other big game that came out before the Switch 2, sucked all the air out of the room. Elden Ring Night Rain.
Yeah.
Why is this not a game that I should try?
Well, if you were interested in playing one of their games, I would just play Elden Ring. It's just, yeah. This is so it's a multiplayer game. You guys kind of get what it is, right? Like, it's
it's like a closing circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You survive like
Fortnite, but with boss fights.
Yeah. Or another way to look at it is like, it's like Monster Hunter, but with a shrinking map.
Mm-hmm.
And where Monster Hunter, you're spending most of the time you're fighting the monster. Here, you spend most of your time prepping for that. So go running around the map and, leveling up, finding weapons. Like, every time you play the game, you're going to start at level 1. And you have to survive 2 nights. Like, so you have to make it through 2, like, basically mini bosses. After the second night, you go straight into day 3, and like, there is no real day 3. It's like straight to the final boss. I've made it through 2. Like, so when you start the game, there's just 1 boss. That's all you could go after. After you do that, the game opens up, and there's 8 bosses in total for you to take down. I've taken down 2. I think it's very fun. Especially when I unlock the last class. So in like regular Elden Ring or any other games, the classes don't mean much. It's just kind of starting stats, and you just do what you want from there.
Right, but you don't really get to pick, or you're kind of like following a pre-made for this.
Yeah, these are like real different classes, and the last one you unlock is called the Revenant, and ever since I've gotten the Revenant, not played anything else, because what the Revenant does is you can just summon shit and you stand back and watch shit go down. It's fucking great. So yeah, I really enjoy the Revenant. I'm like addicted to her. It's a fun game, but like, and there are things about it that I would hope carry over into their next actual Elden Ring game. Like, there's no fall damage, so you could drop from 1,000 feet. Like, you could jump off a fucking mountain and just treat it just like a normal jump. It's awesome.
Yeah, I was listening to somebody else, and they were talking about that. Like, it's like, the circle's closing, and you have to get to the middle to stay safe. But you're on the top of this cliff. It's like, yeah, just yeet yourself off of it. Like,
it's fucking great, dude. It's so cool being able to fall thousands of feet. The other thing is that I hope they bring into new games is wall jumping. You can basically scale up the side of a fucking cliff by just jumping against the wall over and over. Okay. So those two things are awesome. Where I think this game becomes frustrating. So when you're playing Elden Ring or any other games, you fight a boss, it's very hard. You all die. You could try again. Well, that's usually about, there's maybe a bonfire is a minute away from a boss. Here, when you spend an hour playing your 2 days, you get to the boss, everyone dies. You're not going straight back to a boss. It's it runs over and it's an hour lost. So that's pretty frustrating. And then when you get people that are idiots, their community is usually really good with multiplayer, but I've had a lot of instances where the person just takes off after 5 to 10 minutes in. You're just it's just you and this other guy now. And it's there's no way you're gonna win it with just two of you. The game is designed to be played with 3 players, so it's
right.
It's just not happening. But you kind of have to keep going through with it because it's oh, you'll be penalized for leaving because some guy threw a hissy fit, or they wanted or who knows? Maybe they had to go do something. It's don't start a match then, dude. If you gotta go do something, you're fucking everyone else over. But yeah, generally it's pretty fun. But yeah, now that I'm on the third boss, they keep getting harder, and it's just I had pretty good run with 2 other guys. We were I think I was level 13 going into the final boss, which is pretty high. We're all felt like we were pretty good, and just got smacked. And I'm just great. There goes another hour, and there's no real progress to show for it. You get these relics that you can attach, just like any roguelike, just little perks and stuff. But it's most of the relics you get are either garbage or apply to a class that I'm so committed to the Revenant class that I don't care if you give me an awesome relic for another class. I want to play as the Revenant. But yeah, that's Night Rain. It's decent. It's frustrating, but cool and fun. I don't see myself playing it much more now that I have all these other games and a brand new system. But we'll see. I would like to get through all the bosses, and you do get stuff after I beat the second boss, it unlocked a wardrobe, and in your little lair, or your hub area.
Right.
So it's you do for each boss I have beaten, there has been significant things I've gotten, but yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Okay. Doesn't sound like a for me game.
No, if you're gonna play it, I would just say just go play Elden Ring. I'll help you kill shit.
Okay. Earl, you play anything this week?
Oh, sorry, I did. I went away this weekend, like I said, which is always a good opportunity to try out some new Go multiplayer games or newish. So I mean, we played some other games. The big one for me was Pico Park 2. Pico is Pico Park, PICO.
Mm-hmm.
It's a co-op puzzle game, I guess.
Okay.
I guess it's the best way to explain it. Basically, it's kind of like Box Boy, Box Girl. You're basically trying to take your character from point A to point B to get out. But it's a two-player game, and in ways you have to work together to make sure you are able to complete objectives and get things, or complete certain level objectives and not do it. So for the most part, I think the first few stages are just tutorials, getting familiar with how it works, and then later on they introduce gimmicks. So there will be gimmicks. We've hit 2 stages where you can't touch the other characters. which means that you are trying to basically work together and you go, stop, I'll go. You don't want the screen to get too far. You don't want characters to get out of the way. And then there will be obstacles. Like there was a level where there's a phantom throwing you. So you also have to, you're kind of just trying to maneuver where you're not going too far because you don't want to get the people in front of you, but you're not pressing anything so you don't fall off. There are levels where you are tied together with like a bungee rope, and you depending on we played with 5 people, so depending on the momentum and the number of people, you could pull people down, put them up to get across the edges. You can jump across stuff and pull people forward. There was one puzzle where we had to get a key to open the door, and the key was in between 2 switch panels. If you touch the switch panel, the platform that everybody was on would just fall, and everybody just. The good thing is you just restart where you would fall. So it was a lot of trial and error, a lot of trial and error. We were very drunk. Some of them were very high, but there were some great apps. It's a ton of fun. According to the research we did, it is cross-play. The game is like $8 usually. It was an absolute delight. The other game I played, not a new. I mean, this is not a new game either, but Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. And the only reason I bring that up is that we played it in co-op, which I had never done, and it's such a fascinating thing because one, I think it cements across the board that Dixie's the best side character in those games. I feel so bad for Diddy, but he does not do anything.
What makes Dixie so much better?
Because she has like the floating jump, so she gets a bit more distance. And unlike Diddy, because Diddy I think has a jetpack, her floating jump will also elevate you a little bit more. So Cranky has the Scrooge McDuck DuckTales spot, so he can jump on spikes. But Dixie gets the elevation, and you'll need that a lot more. And again, in co-op, you can unlike the old games, you control each character individually, so it's not like a tag theme thing. One person will always be Donkey Kong, another person will always be the sidekick. You can combo up, and there were times we had to jump on Donkey Kong's shoulder because it a lot of modern Nintendo platformers where if you play co-op, there comes parts where the level's falling down or things are falling as somebody touches the platform. That does not work as well when you have 2 different people trying to do it. So jump on Donkey Kong's back and do some of that. But yeah, again, a really fun game. It just reminded me that I absolutely adore and love Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Also reminded me it's a hard as hell game, but it is very pretty, some great music, and I thought a very good time in co-op.
Nice. Anything else?
I think those were the big ones, and I mean everything else is trying to get in the Switch ready for transfer. I've been playing a bit more for Cross, and of course, on my way back, I played a lot of Bayatro, but we've talked a lot about Bayatro already. So,
speaking of, not to go all the way back to the Switch too, but do you play Fortnite on your Switch?
I have. I am very curious. I've seen some of the upgrades. I'm very curious to see when I get my Switch to download that and try it out. Because I've seen some pretty good comparison videos, and it looks more like because I mostly play on my Xbox, and it's more of what I expected from the Xbox. I'm not a huge frame rates person, but I know enough about Fortnite to know the Switch version is not at, I think it's 30 versus 60. So I want to go back and actually that would be really nice to have on the go.
It's a completely different app too. You have to download a new Fortnite for the Switch too. So
yeah,
I just thought that was interesting. A completely new app that you need. All right, on my side, I finished Deliver at All Costs, which was the little driving.
Oh yeah,
delivery game. That's a super fun little game. Probably took me, I don't know, a little bit over 10 hours. It's a good time. I played it mostly on my Steam Deck. That game should come to Switch too.
Yeah.
And I think it will be a really good addition there. It's a lot of fun. I think it stalls a little bit in the third act, then just becomes like story based missions instead of story stuff. Although one of them is neat, like I guess two of them are. So one of them in the third act is you have to go and steal the company car. You're on the run at this point, so you have to steal the company car and then go pick up the investors that are trying to that your old boss is trying to get to invest money in a new company. And it's like it's one of those ones where it's like a GTA mission where you have to drive safe. You don't want to scare them too much because if you do, then you'll fail the mission. But then it takes a curveball after you get all three of them, and now you have to scare the shit out of them. So like then you can drive like crazy and drive through buildings. So that one's kind of fun. And then there's another one that's where you're out of the car for a little bit. You have to skulk around this. It's like a junkyard where they crush cars. So you have to like skulk around to save your truck, and then escape, and then go get your old boss's car and bring it back to the junkyard and trash it. So it comes out as like this little cube, and then you bring it back to your old office and you leave it there in the original parking space where you stole it. It's fun, but it's all just story based stuff. Like in the third act, you're not doing like weird deliveries anymore. They go a little bit heavy on the story in the end. But overall, like it's fun. Like I think the controls are purposely screwy, so that you're always kind of feeling like you're on the verge of being out of control.
Mayhem,
yeah. And there's also a story bit where this doesn't happen for most of the game. Like through 2/3 of the game, there's no police presence. You can run pedestrians over. You can run like knock down buildings and bridges and just cause complete mayhem in this city. But then there's a story mission where the cops start chasing you. That's not fun, but it's very short lived. So deliver at all costs. I think it's $25. Good time. And the other one that I played, Tony talked about it previously, Crime Scene Cleaner.
Yes.
This is not a Jeff game. He did not like it.
Well, this is different. It's a crime scene.
But it's the same thing as Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah, but this is a crime scene.
It's very much like Power Wash Simulator, though.
But this is a crime scene.
Yes, you're cleaning up a crime scene. Like you're so there's like bodies that you have to like pick up and dispose of. Like you put them in body bags. By putting them in body bags, I mean you bring them to the set location and you throw them, and then they immediately show up in a body bag. It's goofy. You like pick up evidence. You clean up like bloody trash, and then where the Power Wash Simulator comparison comes in is you're like mopping and scrubbing the blood off of everything. So you're like trying to find it all. And this actually has a skill tree, so you can upgrade like the detective mode in Batman, where you can press a button and it'll show you where the blood is on the walls. It's very like it's goofy because you're like cleaning up blood and these murder scenes, but it has that same quality that Power Wash did. I'm having a good time with it. I could see why Tony liked it. It's funny. Just the fact that there's like they've interlooped a story to it, where you're like working for this crime boss. It's just goofy fun, and it's up on Game Pass. If you like Power Wash, it's a good go. And it seems like it's much better than the recently released Spray Paint Simulator, which seemed like it would be like Power Wash, but it seems like it maybe is not a good game. So go play Crime Scene Cleaner if you're looking for Power Wash fix before Power Wash 2 comes out. And then finally, there was a state of play. Was it Wednesday, Earl?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I just say up front at the top of the hour,
Yeah.
probably, in my estimate, the best state of play I've seen.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which
Packed
is,
with
packed with announcements. I think they paced it well. They had some good talking heads. There were some great games in there. I mean, it's the same issue with a lot of the things will come up, which is when you kind of get past the shine and a lot of games are not this year.
yeah,
But
that's true. Ghost of Yotai is like the only big Sony game that really was shown, I think.
ish, because they're publishing the Marvel fighting game.
Okay, yeah, the Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls by Arc System,
Yeah.
which looks great. That game has an awesome looking art style.
Yeah, I'm all for it. And I'm happy, but it's also one of those things where I'm like, I kind of wish this was been an action game, so you can get like a bit more. Again, I've not played it out of Arc's work system, but I heard other people talking about it because they're not like Nether Realms with like big story modes.
Yeah, I mean that's a game I think I will play at some point, but it won't be when it comes out. So I'm not playing 60 or 70 hours for a fighting game that I'm going to be bad at. Yeah, Ghost of Yotai was shown again. Then a ton of like other stuff, like some really cool. There's a new Luminous game coming, Jeff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, called Luminous Arise. It's by I believe the same people who did Tetris Effect.
Cool.
So yeah, like Luminous, great game. New Silent Hill was shown.
Ish.
Yeah, I mean F has been announced previously.
Yeah.
More
Okay.
gameplay to it this time.
Yes. Okay, I'm just gonna skip ahead a bit, and then we can go back because I've been ranting and raving to everybody I've met about 007 First Sight.
Yeah.
Bond game from IO.
Where Bond is played by Nathan Drake.
Yes, that does sound. So okay, my beef. Okay, I will preference this with saying I'm a huge James Bond fan. I've had no bone about it. It's probably my favorite movie franchise of all time. I adore the movies. I adore the movies so much I've actually gone back and read some of the books. I try not to gatekeep. I try not to be that guy, and I'm not gonna gatekeep this. I will buy it because I'm a fool. But
It's gonna be awesome. Like
I'm sure it'll be a great game. But my very first beef with this, First Sight does not sound like a James Bond thing at all. First Sight is so generic that it doesn't tell me anything. This is a franchise that even their one word things are something spectacular and weird and strange. Okay, most of them. I think Spectre's whatever. But
Skyfall, Moonraker.
Yeah. Something. Like it tells you something or it doesn't tell you anything. Like, what are you talking about? First Sight is just boring. Two, it's also kind of redundant. Three, Craig started off with an origin story for James Bond. It's very similar to that, where like I think there's even a line in this trailer where he's a gun that needs to be aimed or something like that. Where I think in the Casino Royale, M calls him a blunt instrument. And I think in Spectre, that's the one when they do no, is it Spectre? No, Skyfall is the one when they do the old and new stuff. And like there's a whole thing with him and Q where, like I could pull the trigger in my pajamas at my home and Bond's like, or not pull the trigger. And it's like that's kind of knowing the difference. But that aside, again, like I said, the name is dumb. And I'm not even talking about just in the movies. I think Everything or Nothing is a great name. Agent on the Fire, Night Fires, whatever. Even Bloodstone is a decent name for a game. First Sight, several people mentioned kind of makes you think of Infamous.
It
That
does. That's an Infamous. That's like the DLC for Infamous.
Yes. 2, I don't know who this generic white twink dude is.
He looks like Nathan Drake.
He's not James Bond, and people are like he's already a very white character. I don't know how you're like, we got to make him whiter and more bland. And I think the thing that got me, and the thing I try to explain to people, is that I think James Bond, the character, the actors, are what we would consider traditionally attractive, handsome dudes. You know,
Sure.
but I don't think of them as hot. And I feel like this one, they're trying to make like a hot 20-something-year-old. The way somebody I saw on Blue Sky said, this is the guy you worry about roofing your drink at a bar.
Fair.
And that's
Fair
not the vibe you want. Like, yes, I am not going to sit here and say James Bond is not give off date rape vibes, but in a different way. He's like the type of guy who's going to take you home after you've had a few, not the guy who's going to poison your drink to take you home. And yes, and even some of the stuff in it. But that said, I do think, like, again, I think the game looks fun, and I will buy it. It looks like a third-person shooty bang bang with some fun stories. Okay, this is also one of my pet peeves. A very minor pet peeve. This is just a very specific pet peeve. Is that he calls the person in the trailer mom, and that is such a very specific Daniel Craig, Judy Dench thing, because he calls her that in those movies they work together, and I don't know why, but I don't know if he just says M weird, but they have this in the trailer, and I'm like, are they doing this as a homage to him, or do they not realize that the code name's M, or is it not M and it's like a nickname?
Or is he trying to say ma'am and it just sounds weird?
Yes. But I think it's such, and I think it's probably ma'am, but it's such a very specific Daniel Craig, Judi Dench thing with his Bond and her M that I was so confused by. And yes, I know that it's such a granular nerdy thing to talk about, but as somebody who's seen these movies a lot, because nobody else says that. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, they brought this into this game.
Anything else on 007? Earl, you're being our James Bond expert.
I'm very curious because we got the trailer, and I think other people are correct. It's a decent trailer, but I don't think this is our grand debut trailer. This feels like a second trailer. This feels like, oh, we revealed the game, we've shown you some, so we're going to show you like more of the story and more of the action and the humor. Like, I feel like, and I don't know, because we're supposed to get a showcase with it tomorrow, either this recording Friday, by the time this comes out, it should have happened.
Yep.
So it feels like it's going in reverse, where like we'll get the gameplay showcase, and then we'll get the story trailer. Because like everything, as far as I can tell, is in game. Like none of that is like CG or like one of those stuff trailers. Just like this is very much taken from the game, and it feels weird that you. Again, Bond is humorous, but I don't think of it as a comedy. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does. Like he has a sense of humor about him. It's not an action comedy movie.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I get it. Yeah, I'm interested to see that showcase. So, I am intrigued by this game. So.
Yeah.
Also out of their new Bloodstained game, Jeff.
Yeah.
That one looks pretty good. Looks a little more 2.5D than the last Bloodstained, or the original one. Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles. I think Earl, you said you were surprised it was not a 2D HD game.
Yeah, I
And-
was.
Yeah, me too.
It's such a weird. I guess not weird, but it's such a great style. And to come and look at this, and I have not. I will be honest. I've not rewatched the trailer. I was like, I don't really notice a difference that much. Like it's cleaner.
Yeah, I did not like what it looked like, so it looked a little too cartoony. Like the edges are smoothed out from what the original game was, which I guess is what they're going for. It's just a little too smooth for me. I think the 2D HD would have been a phenomenal look with this game. Because beggars can't be choosers. We've been waiting for to make a comeback for years, so finally got it. Jeff, we talked about this one last week. Games. Everybody's golf hot shots. There's a new hot shot or everybody's golf game coming.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was funny that we had just talked about golf games and that one's coming. One that caught my eye was this game called Cairn. It's like a climbing game.
Yeah.
With like a narrative to it. So I thought that could be pretty cool. And I don't know, I think maybe all of us are excited for this one. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection by Digital Eclipse, who did Atari 50 and the museum pieces for Atari. They're doing this Mortal Kombat collection, so expect like lots of cool documentary stuff and awesome like history on Mortal Kombat and the franchise. What is disappointed? It looks like it's only the first 4 games.
What else do you need?
Well,
the PS2 era like stuff.
Well, I, to be fair to them, I think they said and more. They have not confirmed.
Oh, let's say and more. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. It's gonna be like the Game Boy game. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be.
Okay, that is confirmed. That is confirmed that they'll have multiple. Like they'll have like I think Mortal Kombat 4 will have the arcade version, as well as the console versions, and stuff like that. People were wondering about Ultimate Mortal Kombat, so that's a. I mean, I'm into this. I'm intrigued by this. I'm oddly enough more intrigued to see if they include stuff like Shaolin monks or Sub-Zero mythology.
That is what I was really kind of hoping, because like the weird Mortal Kombat stuff, like not just the fighting games, like special forces and Shaolin monks and mythologies, like that stuff's cool, and like it's not good. Well,
it's not good.
But it's not good. But it's different. It's fun. Like that's part of the fun of these museum pieces is getting that weird history and finding out why'd you make these decisions, and then being able to play the games right there. So
yeah.
And I also think there is something to be said about like everybody always talks about video game but I think people tend to think of it more in terms of like the good games. Just like sometimes you also have to remember we've released a ton of crap, and I don't think there's a market for like Special Forces or Sub-Zero as a remake or remaster, but in part of a collection. Like I'm so down to try that. And calling a spade a spade. I actually think Shaolin Monks is a really good action game. Granted, it's been 20 years since I played it, so who knows how it holds up now. But that I really enjoyed that. So I would love for that stuff to be included.
All this said, go ahead, Chris.
I was just I hope it goes through. I hope it goes through 2008 or 2007. So let's maybe not Mortal Kombat versus DC, because that's like the new.
Yeah, it's like the new.
It's like when new Mortal Kombat kind of kicked off, like that style of what NetherRealms has been doing. But up until then, give us Armageddon and Unchained and give us that weird shit. What were you gonna say, Jeff?
Well, the only thing is, like, I realized now thinking about it, I still have not bought Mortal Kombat 1, which, as cool as this will be to get, it's like, I'd rather play that. Yeah, like the most recent, like, yeah.
Yeah. I'm waiting for one to, like, they just released the definitive edition of it, so all the DLC. I'm just waiting for like, a good sale on that one.
It will, like, dude, I'm talking like you'll be able to buy everything for like $10. Like they do it all the time with X. So
yeah,
or 11
and I think
or whatever.
You told me like, hey, like 11 Ultimate is like $15. That came with Aftermath.
Yes, that's like a great deal. Like even if you just play the story content, that's totally worth it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm waiting on one for a sale like that.
And just to kind of back to Chris's point real quick,
mm-hmm.
Honestly speaking, if I was to do a collection and ended it with the original Mortal Kombat game, I think I would end it at Deadly Alliance. I think that's like the first like really like 4 is the first 3D game, but I feel like that's the one that gets it. And I also think you kind of get that weird bow because that's spoilers for a game that's 19 years old or something like that. That's the one they kill Liu Kang, who was very much the through line of the Mortal Kombat games. So much so that they do have to resurrect him and all this other nonsense happens after the fact. But you do get that thing where you get like the original story arc of, the Mortal Kombat tournament, the every 10 years and Outworld and stuff like that. The champion, the protector of Earthrealm, who gets murdered by like, the 2 big bads that you had introduced throughout the series. And I think, not Shao Kahn, what's the other guy name? But he's introduced in 4, and they team up and they kill Liu Kang at the start of 5. Like, okay, I'm like, from a story's perspective, I think that's a really good place to kind of end it. And then you could eventually do, because Dead Alliance is 5, so you could do, DC is what, 6 or 7, but you could do that stuff and then go up to, is it 9? No, 10 is when they reset the universe, right?
9 is yeah. So X is like, well, I guess they technically reset it with 1, right?
But yeah, so I think yes.
Yeah, like Mortal Kombat X, and Mortal Kombat 11. That's like one big story together.
So yeah, you could bundle those together eventually, because again, like this will be this year. You have time.
Yep. Yeah, Mortal Kombat versus DC is technically Mortal Kombat 8.
Okay. Then I need to figure this out because I forgot they stopped numbering them because Deadly
Alliance is 5. Deception is 6.
There we go, because that's the one when they turn on each other. Then DC. Wait, no, because then there's still 7.
Armageddon is
Armageddon. Okay.
7. Then DC. Yep.
And then they start numbering them.
Yes, kind of. They go Mortal Kombat, which is the name of the original, the Mortal Kombat X, which is 10, like that is. Then Mortal Kombat 11.
Then Mortal Kombat 1 or Mortal 1 Kombat.
Mortal 1 Kombat. Yep.
Okay, sounds about right. I can follow that.
I'm not going to touch on Metal Gear Solid. Like that looks like Metal Gear Solid. Like it looks like a good version of that game. That's out in 2 months. So Neo 3. Jeff, were you a Neo fan?
Yeah, I only played the first one. It's pretty good.
Okay. One that gave me a little bit of a start. Earl also kind of had. Earl said that this was when it was time to go take a break. The Thief is getting a new game. The Thief franchise. It's a VR game now. I looked up Earl because I was like doing something at work, and I look up and look at my phone, which had the state of play on, and all I see is somebody running around, and it's just a floating hands. Like, what the hell am I looking at?
You forgot what those VR games look like.
Yeah, and it was. I think it's the only VR game.
It was the only VR game. I think the next game was as well, but it actually turned out to be just I don't even say normal game, but I think it was like a free to play. because there was 2 C games.
Tides of Tomorrow and Sea of Remnants.
Yes, that's about. So I think that was Tides of Tomorrow.
Okay.
That came up afterwards, and I'm like, oh, this is another VR game. Like, no, this is an actual. Oh, okay, I did not get that.
There's a new Suda51 game.
And that was very. I watched that. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. This starts off like an Adult Swim cartoon.
Yeah.
Like with that animation style, and a guy, you don't even see him get attacked, but like his face is melting or something, and he's like, I got this for you, and he injects something in his eye, and it's a whole thing. And I'm just like watching them, like, I don't know what's going on, but I think it looks interesting. And then Suda came up and grasped up. I'm like, oh, I should have guessed this. It was them. Because this is so their type of humor. It works for me because, again, I adore No More Heroes 1 and 2. And what you pop chainsaw and stuff like that. But I just okay, but it's interesting, yeah.
I guess the other big, I mean, they gave it the prime spot. I think it opened the show. Is that
Pragmata? Oh, okay.
It's the astronaut with Megan.
Yes, it's an interesting looking game. I was so like why is it a human child that you're walking around with?
No idea. It was very weird. It's something I like will take a look at if it like seems like it's going to be a good game. Such a weird trailer. Did not understand really what was going on. And then I guess the other, it's not big news, but they, because it's only going to be like 5 levels or something, but they're releasing more Astrobot levels. They just keep dropping new levels for that game, so they're really supporting it, and all the DLC has been free. I think they said they're up to 90 some worlds at this point.
Yeah,
so that's neat. It's good to see them supporting that. That's it. That was the state of play. I mean, unless you guys have a big feeling on the retro stuff that they had, like Twisted Metal 3 and 4 or Myst.
I mean, I'm happy for Twisted Metal. I think synergistic with the TV show returning, and yeah, so that works. But yeah, I mean, yeah, nothing stands out, nothing mind blowing.
Yeah, it's a good show though.
Yes,
a lot of games I'm gonna play. A lot of games I'm like, oh, I'll play that, or I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, a lot of great games. I think a lot. Like I said, for me, the games was sometimes the problem, but it wasn't always their biggest problem. Their biggest problem was always just never knowing how to pace their shows properly. But I think they did a good job here with like having games, having talking heads, deep dives. Nothing overstayed its welcome. I think the only thing that would have been not necessarily the Marvel game, but how they got to the talking heads with like the stream pausing and then rewinding.
Yeah, so they revealed 2026 at the end of that, and then it like rewinds, and I was like, are they gonna drop this right now? And no, we're gonna have some people talk. Made no sense because that was the end of the show.
Yeah, that was where I'm like, okay, you're kind of losing people. You had us, and I'm happy for you to talk about this, but it's such a weird way to present it. And then they had that weird capo with Gotai, where I think it ends with like, you're still here. Like that's not what you wanted people to go away with,
right?
Oh, you stayed through all it is. I'm surprised too.
Way to go, guys. But yeah, I guess 93 is now, I guess that was like the kickoff for it, because now we're going to be in full swing starting tomorrow. It seems like there's a lot of good games coming. So
wait, what shows are tomorrow? Because I called in sick.
Summer Game Fest is the big one.
That's tomorrow?
Yeah. This podcast comes on Saturday. You have to fake a call to us. And then I think the IO Presents, which is the James Bond and some other, and they also have, what is this game I read? Midnight's Eye?
Yes. Who is somebody is working on that. That was originally supposed to be in this game called Everywhere, which we haven't heard from in quite some time, but yeah, that they're going to show a bunch of that. That's coming out pretty soon as well, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's a very weird thing because apparently it's out, so people on PlayStation have had access to it, but it's not like officially out, and it's been a mess from what I followed because like people in Japan had to get refunded because they bought the game and they were supposed to have access to the game yet, and people were giving impressions, and I don't think it was this week. I think it was last week or week before. The developer was like, people like GTA developers are coordinating against me to get negative publicity. And I'm like, I've never heard of this game until you started whining about it.
So it's you guys have heard Leslie Benzies. He was the closer that worked for Rockstar. He's basically the guy that pushed like the last few GTA games over the line. He was the guy that came in and like produced them to get, because like the Housers are a little scattershot, and he was the one that came in and made sure they got actually out the door. He's directing this game, and it's for IO, so it'll be at that showcase.
Yes, but it is supposed to be out or is out or something like that. Yes, that is. So Summer Game Fest, Day of the Dev, Devolver Direct, IO's Interactive Showcase, the Wholesome Direct. Then there's some other stuff, but that's the stuff. And then the big one is, of course, Sunday with Microsoft's Xbox Game Showcase, and then the Outer Worlds 2 Direct. Those are things that we're anticipating. Like, yeah, next week we'll have a bunch to talk about, and knock on wood, I'll have a new system. Hopefully, Walmart comes through.
Tony should also have a new system, and Jeff will play more Fantasy Life, and I'll play a bunch more Mario Kart. So we'll have tons of stuff to talk about next week, and maybe Mind's Eye that comes out June 10th, like officially. So
really stoked to see how.
But we'll be back next week with more stuff. I don't know.
Stuff and things and stuff.
Jeff, say goodnight.
Good night.